What is good, Tesla family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And this one, I'm going to be talking about the technical analysis for Tesla, SPY, Nvda, and the QQQ. I'm going to be talking about CPI, which is coming out for tomorrow, and how it could affect Tesla. And also what's going on with the news affecting Tesla, as we have some new headlines and new milestones for Tesla that we're going to be talking about. But before I break anything down about all this information, before I talk about what the news is saying about Tesla and all this information, let me just mention a couple of things. I am personally not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Moomoo, the link down below, and deposit $100 into the account, you are guaranteed up to 5 free stocks. Now, the offer ends in just about 4 days, so check it out before they run out. Anyways, let's break down what's going on with the market for now. So looking at Tesla's things been on an uptrend, making higher highs and higher lows. But for tomorrow, I can't promise anything about the share price or the price action because it all depends on CPI. Now, this is what the CPI and core CPI charts look like. As you can see, they've been on a big downtrend. But as of recent, the all items CPI has been on a slight uptrend. So we will see if this continues or not. This could be a little negative for the markets depending on the data. So we'll have to wait and see. Just as a reminder, it's all coming out an hour before the market opens, this CPI data. I'm just going to talk about the year over year. We want CPI year over year to be, so it's like right here, below 3.7% or at that number. If it's 3.8% or higher, that's going to be bearish. 3.7% or lower is going to be a little bit more in favor of the bulls. If core CPI year over year is 4.2% or higher, that's bearish. If it's 4.1% or lower, that's going to be a little bit more bullish, or kind of like in the middle. So we're going to be watching that very carefully for tomorrow. It's going to be causing some volatility. Now, there are other pieces of news which I will talk about in maybe just a few minutes, but I first want to talk about the charts before I break down anything. If we're bullish after CPI, if we get the bullish cases that I just mentioned a couple of seconds ago, Tesla could be pushing up for higher levels such as 268. If that breaks, 272 is on the table for Tesla. If we're bearish, you want to see it break below 262 to retest 260. If 260 fails us, it's going to be sinking down towards 257.5 and even 255, or even below that. So those are the bullish and bearish cases. Watch those levels very carefully for tomorrow. For SPY, if we're bullish, you want to see it break 438.5. If that breaks, we could see this thing push for 440. Also, there's a gap at 438.5, so watch that very carefully. If we're bearish, you want to see it break below this yellow trend line. If it breaks below this, there's potential for it to come all the way down to 433. We will see if that's the case or not. It all depends on the numbers for tomorrow. For the QQQ, if we're bullish, you want to see this thing break above 372. If it breaks, 374 is on the table. If you're bearish, you want to see it break below 370 and then 368. 368 specifically is very important because if that breaks, that's going to break the low that we made today. And we could see this thing sink towards 366 and then 365 below that. So watch that very carefully. For Nvidia stock, we're going to be watching some very, very key levels. If we're bullish, you want to see it break above resistance at 470. If it breaks above that, we could be trying to go up to 474. If we're bearish, we want to see it break below this yellow trend line right here for a possible rising wedge. If it breaks below 465, we could see this thing sink towards 460. If 460 fails, we're going to turn more bearish and see this thing get very close to the 450s. So watch those levels on Nvidia. And last but not least, for Apple, from a technical standpoint, Apple looks a bit more bullish as we have an unfilled gap towards 182. But that doesn't really guarantee anything as it depends on CPI. If we're bullish, we want to see it push up and break and hold 180 to close and also push up towards 182.5 to fill the gap. If you're bearish, you want to see it sink below this 179 to 180 zone and start sinking towards 178. These are some very important levels, but that's pretty much it, as it all depends on CPI, and I can't really promise anything. Now, when it comes to Chinese tickers, which could technically affect Tesla to some extent, this also could affect Tesla. Tesla it could benefit from this as China is planning on spending $137 billion on infrastructure to boost the economy. In doing so, this is going to help bring in more stimulus and help increase jobs and things like that. So we will see if this helps Tesla to some extent or not. That news technically came out yesterday, but this was making more headlines today. Some good news for Tesla is that Tesla announced the 4680 battery cell production breakthrough that just came out as they produced their 20 millionth battery cell at the factory at the Giga Texas, which is great news for them. On top of all of this, they also mentioned that with new developments, they could reduce the battery cost by over 50% with the new design. And they're trying to bring it to volume production, which is going to help them more and more. So we're going to be watching to see this new techniques, if they can reduce costs. This would be very good for them to help improve those margins. We'll have to wait and see. On top of this, there's this news that came out that someone bought a 2023 Tesla Model Y for a year-long test, and they're really asking, is this better than a Tesla? So the real question is, are we about to see any improvements? And they basically talked about how the Tesla Model Y is the Toyota Corolla of the EVs. It's a very, very awesome car. And they mentioned that there are a lot of great functions that have come out for it, lots of great functionalities when it comes to acceleration. They mentioned, and they did a lot of tests on it simultaneously, such as how great it is at that, the charging time, and what it's like after 1 year. And what they found is that looking at the customization of these cars with their Tesla app, it's very, very awesome for them. They also talked about how they could kind of like update their car with different clicks from their phones and very awesome things like that. So they mentioned that overall, they've done a lot of tests with it. And even though it is a little pricey in their opinion, it actually was very, very easy, very, very awesome to drive. They were talking about how they signed their paperwork. It's very, very cool to drive, very smooth ride, and they liked it overall. However, we're going to be watching to see if there are any updates from this website involving it. There's also this news that came out that Tesla started selling the vehicle wraps for the Model 3/Y at the pricey $7,500 to $8,000. So, with this being said, this could be allowing for more and more different colors for customers to be using. This could help bring in more revenue and things like that. And I think that is very awesome because this allows for customization and it gives customers more ways to express themselves with their car colors, which is pretty cool. I mean, any customer would love this. I would love to be able to do this as well with any other vehicles. So I think it's very awesome, and I can't wait to see what else Tesla announces for their customers. Now, this other piece of news is making headlines that Mercedes basically unveils a Tesla semi rival. It's known as the Actros 600. I may have said that wrong, but it's okay. With the 311-mile range, it looks pretty cool. I kind of like the design, but if anything, even though this is quite cool for them, I just want to mention that it doesn't really matter that much because as long as Tesla has the deals it has with like Pepsi and etc., they're going to be fine, guys. They're going to be fine. Tesla is now just entering a very competitive space, but what company is ahead of Tesla when it comes to these semis? Very few are near them. So I think that Tesla is doing a great job when it comes to electric semis, is what I'm referring to. They're doing a great job, so I'm not too worried. And I think that more competition just incentivizes Tesla to do better. And I think their cars are very cool nonetheless. So to me, it's fine. Tesla's going to be completely fine as time goes on. So it's nothing to really worry about. I really want the best for both of these companies if they have a common purpose. But if anything, Tesla, with its brand and its capabilities and the big deals it has, is still going to be on top for the time being, in my opinion. And I'm still very bullish long term. All right, guys, so let's watch and see what happens with CPI. It's going to be very important for tomorrow. And the best thing to do is just remain calm, cool, and collected and let the chart guide you when it comes to trading and etc. All right, so watch the levels I talked about, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for the next video. Thank you, and peace out.